it on record for the whole world to know that once you present a forged certificate, you are not qualified ab initio to run. You cannot get any benefit from forging your certificate. You cannot derive any benefit from any illegality whatsoever. Few months ago, one of our daughters by name Mesoma forged her JAMB result, and today she has been sanctioned for forging the JAMB result. Today, was it that Mesoma did not sit for JAMB? She sat for JAMB. But what is her offense? Her offense is the offense of forgery. And the JAMB, the regulatory agency, has sanctioned her for the forgery. In this case, our law is no respecter of any person. Whoever you are, as long as the law says once you forge, you are not qualified, and Tinubu has forged, he's not qualified.
Guys, this is just a preamble. The full length of the video is I'm gonna play it in just a moment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching from. Guys, the issue, the controversy surrounding the Chicago State University certificate forgery belonging to Tinubu and all of these things. This man said the entire thing from Genesis to Revelation. Everything, every point that you need to get, that you need to know is embedded in this video. I want you to just take your time, listen carefully to it. If you don't have the time now, leave it. When you have time, come back and listen very carefully to it. This man is the first person that actually made sense since the issue, since this controversy began. He said a whole lot in this video that you cannot afford to miss. You cannot build nothing. You can't build anything on nothing. That is just the simple fact. This is now clear to the world, to the globe, that the certificate of forgery, by Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually true. I mean, there are no two ways about it. Once you forge certificate, you are not qualified to run ab initio. That's exactly what this lawyer has said. I want you to take your time and listen to it. Try as much as possible to share this video. It is very, very important because our country is at the verge of collapse. Our country is even getting worse by day. People cannot travel without your passport being double checked at the airport. This is embarrassing. Guys, thank you very much. Listen to this video and I'll see you in the next one.
Let me start by making this statement that the Nigerian media houses, including Arise News, have redefined the case of Atiku Abubakar in his petition and even in his appeal. 2, the Nigerian media houses, including Arise News, have not made a bold statement concerning the oral deposition by the registrar of Chicago State University concerning the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC, whether the school admitted issuing that certificate to Tinubu or not. These are the two issues I would want to start with. First, on the issue of redefining the case of Atiku Abubakar. The recent narrative has been that Tinubu attended Chicago State University. But no, that's not the case of Atiku Abubakar. The case of Atiku Abubakar is on whether the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC was forged or not. That is the issue in controversy. And all until that issue is settled, is resolved, Nigerians will not know where to stand in this issue. And from the deposition or the oral deposition by the registrar of Chicago State University, he admitted clearly without any ambiguity that the school did not issue the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. And that is the narrative Nigerians want to hear. And I don't know whether Arise News has a contrary view to that assertion by the registrar of Chicago State University, that they did not issue that certificate to Tinubu. And if the school has come out by its oral deposition that they did not issue that certificate to Tinubu. And going by our law, which is section 1371J, that a person is not qualified to run for the office of president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria if that person has submitted a false certificate to INEC. If that is the law, is Tinubu or was Tinubu qualified ab initio to contest for the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And the answer is no. That is what the narrative should be, and not whether Tinubu attended Chicago State University or not, because that is not our law. And Atiku never in his pleadings averred that Tinubu did not, or he did attend Chicago State University. All that was pleaded was that he was not qualified, and in his reply stated that the certificate he submitted to INEC was forged. Going by what transpired in the US court, one of the conditions given while the court granted Atiku Abubakar's request for the discovery was, in quote, for use in foreign jurisdiction, which means if this case, if Atiku Abubakar had gone for the discoveries before the filing of his petition, the US court couldn't have granted him the request for the discovery, because one of the conditions upon which the discovery was granted was because it is for use in foreign jurisdiction. Now, by this condition, which an applicant must satisfy at the Supreme Court, is that at the time the petition was filed, it was extremely difficult for the petitioner to get those evidence, which is clear from the proceedings of the US court. And the court even went further to say that, and it is in the interest of justice, that the said evidence should be presented. We know that our courts have said and have heard repeatedly that our courts should move from the arena of technicality to arena of doing substantial justice. If in this case, as reported in Osadema and Izunaso, that you can present such evidence once you are able to certify this condition precedent, then our appellate court has no option than to accept it. That's one. Then let me also cite the case of Amechi and INEC, reported in 2008, 5 Nigeria Weekly Report, part 1080, on the same issue of whether at the appellate court level, a party can adduce fresh evidence. And the court also answered this question in the affirmative, that yes, you can, insofar as you can certify the court on the conditions which I had already explained. So in all this, what are we looking at? We are looking at substantial justice and not technicality. If you read the case of Uche Nwosu versus APP, the Supreme Court held that a party at fault will not be allowed to take benefit of his wrongdoing. What is the wrongdoing in this place? Now, it is not established that Tinubu forged his certificate he presented to INEC. That is the wrongdoing. Now, the question is, will the law or will the Supreme Court allow Tinubu to take benefit of his wrongdoing? The answer is no. And the court also held in the same matter, though in several matters, that the court will not be used as a vehicle to perpetrate illegality. So if our court will allow itself to be drawn into technicality, it means that they have directly allow illegality to be perpetrated in our legal system. It's clear. And let me even put it on record for the whole world to know that once you present a forged certificate, you are not qualified ab initio to run. You cannot get any benefit from forging your certificate. You cannot derive any benefit from any illegality whatsoever. Few months ago, one of our daughters, by name Mesoma, forged her JAMB result. And today, she has been sanctioned for forging the JAMB result. Today, was it that Mesoma did not sit for JAMB? She sat for JAMB. But what is her offense? Her offense is the offense of forgery. And the JAMB, the regulatory agency, has sanctioned her for the forgery. In this case, our law is no respecter of any person. Whoever you are, as long as the law says once you forge, you are not qualified, and Tinubu has forged, he's not qualified. As simple as that.
Fine.
All right. So the argument they put forward is this, that as long as they've been able to establish, and the school said in their deposition yesterday, especially when the counsel to Mr. Tinubu, Mr. Henderson, was interviewing the witness, said that he attended the school. In fact, in a prior argument where Dr. Angela Liu was talking to the witness, he also affirmed that, yes, there were discrepancies, but he could say they attended the school. And in fact, that blanket statement that they shared to everybody, that anybody, once they make an inquiry via email, they send to them that was student of the school, they affirmed it, that they attended the school. What would you say to all of these arguments that he attended the school and that's it? That there's no need to be able to talk about this issue of certificate or replacement certificate again. That's the major coherent argument that a lot of people also put forward. But what do you say about that? That he attended school, and that's it. Nobody should talk about anything again.
Profile, we are discussing law and not assumption. The law says if you forge a certificate, you are not qualified to run. The question is, did the school say Tinubu forged the certificate or not? And by their oral deposition, the school admitted that the certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC was not issued by the school. It was very clear. But let's put that aside and then tackle the main issue on this issue of Tinubu graduated from Chicago State University. Let me lay this background very well. In 1999, Tinubu, in his deposition, claimed he attended one primary school in Lagos. He attended government college in Ibadan. He attended University of Chicago, and he also attended Chicago State University. 4 claims in 1999, 7 in 2003. This matter was taken up by the late legal icon, Gani Fayomi, and the matter moved to Supreme Court, and it was dismissed on grounds of technicality because the INEC from CF001 submitted by Tinubu was not certified by INEC. But that's by the way. Presently, in 2022, Tinubu submitted his INEC form EC09 to INEC. And in that form, Tinubu didn't state the primary school he attended. Tinubu didn't state the secondary school he attended. They were all blank. and he only stated that he attended Chicago State University. Now, we accept that. The document which the school released to Atiku's lawyers, there is a transcript from Southwest College that has Bola A. Tinubu, indicating that Bola A. Tinubu belongs to a female, F. There is also the Chicago State University admission application form that has this information or this assertion or this claim by Tinubu that he attended Government College, Lagos, and graduated in 1970. When you put all these things in perspective, Rufai, you find out that there is no oral deposition or testimony that will contradict the content of a document. That's a threat law. And the content of that document, the qualifying certificate which gave Tinubu admission into Chicago State University, has a female and also a government college, Government College Lagos. And by these two information on this document, is very clear that Tinubu also presented forged certificates to Chicago State University in terms of his qualifying certificate before he got admission to Chicago State University. Rufai, the law is very clear that you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. That was the decision of the court in USC versus McFoy. So if the basis upon which Tinubu purportedly gained admission to Chicago State University is fraudulent, it then means that whatever certificate Tinubu got in law goes to no issue. That is law. And as long as those documents are there, the registrar of the school was not the maker of those documents. He can't even speak to those documents. And those documents speak for themselves. So if the foundation upon Tinubu's claim or the registrar's claim that Tinubu graduated from that school is fraudulent, it means that even the claim itself that Tinubu graduated from that school is also fraudulent. That's my position on that. That nothing can come out of that school to validate that Tinubu graduated from that school. Because everything about Tinubu, his academic records, have all been shrouded in forgery.